First, I'd like to welcome George Buckless, class of, I want to get it right, class of 69, the chair of our Hall of Fame committee. George.
No, that was a long time ago. On behalf of the 17 members of our Hall of Fame board, I'd like to welcome you here tonight. I can't tell you how much more difficult it has been now as opposed to, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 years ago with regard to the number of athletes who qualified. That is not something I'm the quality athletes that I'm going to put it back on. Anyhow, welcome. It's a special evening for Rachel, for Kevin, for Mike, and our first NCAA women's rowing team. 41 years ago, we started our Hall of Fame. And I'm going to give you a little bit of research. I want to give you some specifics with regard to some of the people that have gone in over the years, because I think it's indicative of how special this evening is, and for the families and the people going in and friends. I can tell you that 1981, the first year that we had a class going, Coach Kibler, Tom Kibler, I don't know how many of you are familiar with him. He was the athletic director. He coached every team at Washington College. He was president of the Chestertown National Bank and commissioner of the Eastern Shore Professional Baseball League. Outside of that, he really didn't have a whole lot to do. But he's in the state of Maryland Hall of Fame. Special people that you might say through the lifetime of athletics here. Of course, Coach Ady, the next year, went in. And those of you who know Coach Ady, probably one of the finest men I've ever met in my life. And when you have an opportunity to play for somebody like Coach Ady, you are blessed, let me tell you. And he was loved by so much. Interesting, that same year, a fellow by the name of Hermer Smoot, class of 1895. Okay? You didn't think they played anything back in those days. But by the way, I found out that they were playing baseball here in Chestertown, Washington College before the Civil War. And I don't think it had anything to do with the Civil War, but they used to have, it was interesting, with Smoot, he played 7 years in the major leagues, and he was here for 8 years as a player and a coach. Wow. I'm not sure he probably didn't play for 8 years, but I mean, nobody really had that down a whole lot. But Coach Ady next year, interesting, in 1983, the next year, we had our own Bruce Jager went into the Hall of Fame, and Bruce was All-American in soccer and lacrosse, and that was in the third year of the induction. So two of my favorites. Bruce, unfortunately, is one of the few people here is older than I am. Always a pleasure to have you. Two other people I'd like to, probably my favorites, and especially with Sarah making her comments later on. We have a lady by the name of Jean Harshaw Lesko, class of 1937. That was 85 years ago. Now, she went into the Hall of Fame. She was a former junior tennis champion of Pennsylvania. But more impressively, she was the first and the only woman to play on a men's athletic team at Washington College, I believe. Anyhow, she played 2 years on the men's Washington College tennis team back in 1935, 36, or something like that. And that had to be really special. She also evidently was the best in her area in field hockey and basketball. Now, one of my favorites is a guy named David Zierfoss. He went into the Hall of Fame the same year I did. And I think I went in because we had like 3 people that were dead already. And they needed somebody to be able to say something. So, I mean, fortunately, David and 2 other people were dead. they used to make from Chestertown to Hopkins when they played Hopkins. And the whole team would have to get on stagecoaches in Chestertown and go, I don't know, to Betterton, or to Rock Hall, or Colchester, and they'd take a steamboat over to Baltimore to spend the night. Next day, they would go out to Hopkins, and they played 2 games, and then they'd turn around, stagecoach back to Baltimore, then the steam, you know, it would take them 5 days to play a doubleheader. But it was interesting. Here's a guy that, once again, our Hall of Fame people go back into the 1890s. I mean, that's a tremendous legacy, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of the special family that you are a part of right now. And it really is the quality of people that we've had up to now, the quality of people that we have now, led by Thad. And it's just a pleasure to have you here, and I want to thank you for coming. Come on up. We were very, very fortunate to have he and Corey just within the last year. There's a vitality, there's an optimism, and there's an excitement about having you two here at Washington College.
Yes.
And I want to thank you, and come on up and say a few words. Thank you.
Well, George, thank you so much. It's very, very kind. I just want to wish everyone here a good evening. It's already been a very good evening, so I can tell we've all dined well and had some nice drinks and some great conversation at our tables. And it's my honor to welcome you all to the 2022 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We're all here tonight to recognize and honor 3 truly terrific former student athletes and their individual contributions to their sports, to our athletics program writ large, and to the greater Washington College community. I want to thank the athletics department for hosting this wonderful celebratory evening and for providing the very foundation upon which awards like this rest. It's because of this team, and I mean the athletics department as a team, their commitment to excellence every single day with athletics, that students are afforded the precious opportunity to pursue their passions on the playing fields and to demonstrate the discipline and sportsmanship that really are the hallmarks of all of our programs. So please join me in acknowledging everything that this hardworking, dedicated team of professionals contributes to Washington College by giving them a round of applause. Thank you. And I also would like to thank all of you for joining us tonight, for really being with us for a special evening. Your support of tonight's honorees and of Washington College athletics is, of course, a critical and necessary part of our ongoing success. Our athletics program is a point of great pride, not only because of the quality of the programs, but also as a galvanizing and incredibly positive force on campus. There's something quite magical about seeing our community come together in support of teams, particularly as our programs expand and achieve new levels of success. With the recent postseason success, for example, of the men's soccer team just last season, they're doing well this year as well, the women's basketball and the baseball teams, we've really had a lot of cheering to do just in the short time that Corey and I have been here. And I anticipate that this trend will only continue. Last spring, we announced the addition of new sports, men's and women's golf, to our already robust offerings. And expansion is another trend that we intend to continue. I can sum it all up by saying that our athletics programs are thriving, top to bottom. And that success certainly is not happening by accident. Our student athletes are natural leaders and disciplined teammates who are putting in an exceptional amount of work, both on and off the field, day in and day out, in addition to their studies and many other extracurricular activities that they all pursue. They are all really high-achieving people. So they're truly some of the busiest people I've ever met. And they're also well coached and supported by talented and dedicated individuals who care about them as human beings. Just as they will challenge them to grow and develop athletically, they are supporting them to also develop as whole persons, paying particular attention to overall wellness and mental health of our student athletes. Wins and championships are great, and we absolutely love them, and we want lots more of them. But the bigger victory is achieved by the development of well-rounded young men and women who embody our mission and define the Goose Nation spirit. There's really no greater representation of that ethos than tonight's honorees. We are incredibly grateful to have this chance once a year to just stop, take a break, and shine a light on some of the accomplished student athletes who have left their mark on our campus and who continue to be high performers well beyond their dates of graduation. This year's distinguished inductees will be officially and formally introduced to you in just a few minutes, so I will simply offer at this point my sincerest congratulations to all three of you. You have made and continue to make Washington College very, very proud. So thank you and enjoy the evening tonight. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our very own Dr. Sarah Firehorn, who is the Vice President for Student Affairs.
Thank you, Mike. I'm not going to be very long, in part because if there's any of you out there who, like me, are fans of the Philadelphia Phillies, we need to get out of here. But I have some photos we dug up, and as I'm here to talk a little bit about Title IX, which 50 years ago opened a lot of opportunities for women in sports that is pretty unprecedented. So we have found some photos, which I'm going to share with you, hopefully, if this works as well, and just say a few words. So first of all, I do want to congratulate Evan and Rachel and Mike and your families and friends who are here. This is an incredible honor and well-deserved for all of you. I had the opportunity to either watch or work with all three of you, and it's just, again, it's an honor to be here as you're honored in the Hall of Fame. Anyone who knows field hockey knows this is organized chaos. But so I just want to say that 2022 marks the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX, and that's legislation that signaled a sea change in the landscape of sports. It opened up thousands of opportunities for girls and women to compete and to be welcomed to the table, previously only occupied by their fathers and brothers and sons. Here at Washington College, the passage of Title IX in 1972 marked the beginning of steady growth of our women's sport opportunities, beginning with volleyball, softball, rowing teams, up until today, where, as Mike mentioned, golf is going to be our newest addition to our 9 varsity women's sports, as well as 2 co-ed sports that we now have for women. Since Title IX, let's keep going. That's a softball field that we'd like to probably forget about, but things have gotten a lot better. And since Title IX was enacted, we've had over 40 women inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we look forward to the future when we will continue to recognize the great accomplishments of athletes, coaches, and others whose excellence and commitment have elevated women's sports in ways that can only have been imagined 50 years ago. That's right. About the difficulty of identifying swimmers and photos. Not that one. So, not this one. So when I think specifically of two of tonight's inductees, and that's not to ignore Kevin, who's amazing accomplishments, but for Mike and Rachel, Mike, who is our longtime coach and truly, I would say, the architect of our nationally ranked women's rowing team, just an amazing coach. And Rachel, whose achievements in the pool remain some of the most impressive of any female swimmer at Washington College. I think about the fact that both of them ply their trades in the water. Water, like the culture of sports, is an environment that can either work for or against you, and against progress sometimes. And we'll move on to, oops, sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to short you, this team. But a well-coached boat like this will slice through the water. A swimmer with great technique will use the power of water to propel herself seemingly effortlessly. But it's not always easy. It can be a grind and sometimes feels like there's always something pushing back on progress. But when we have worked with the power of water here at Washington College and the recognition also of the 2008 women's rowing team, that's just one example. So in many ways, Title IX opened up the waterways for all of us. While our predecessors, our grandmothers, our mothers, our aunts, others, kind of slogged through the mud just for the right to compete, we are now at a place where the opportunities to compete and succeed feel almost limitless. Don't get me wrong, we all know that we have ways to go, but the progress made has been significant. Tonight feels very emblematic to me about how far we have come and those we honor tonight. Washington College athletics has been built on the backs of many legends who we've already heard about. But the growth of women's athletics in particular owes itself to those who have elevated and pushed women's athletics forward. So some of those who have coached our team, so in addition to Mike and Kim Lassard, who's with us tonight, the thousands of former alums who played on our varsity women's teams, other pioneers like Penny Fall, who today's female athletes owe so much to, and people like Trish McGee, and those who have been strong allies for the growth of women's sports, like Brian Matthews and Thad Moore. Two men with three sons who could not be more supportive of women's sports. So I thank them as well. So today, our female athletes proudly wear the Washington College uniform. They are coached by talented and caring coaches and supported by the others who provide them with the equity and opportunity that they deserve. The subtitle of a recent report that I read on the progress of women's athletics since Title IX is it's subtitled, "We're Not Done Yet." And that is the truth. There are more teams to add to our varsity offerings here, more championships to be won, and more women graduating Washington College with the satisfaction and confidence that often comes with being a varsity collegiate athlete. And luckily, that will also come with many more women being inducted into this Hall of Fame in the future. So my congratulations again to the inductees and the honored women's rowing team. This is a wonderful way to celebrate how far we've come. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sarah. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with our programming. I do apologize to those sitting to the right of me. Tom Petty cover band, which is we knew this may happen, but it's fine. So we will power through. So, first, before we start bringing up the 2008 women's rowing team, I would be remiss if I didn't ask those Hall of Fame committee members to please stand up and be recognized for all your works throughout the year. And if we have any Hall of Fame members outside of the Hall of Fame committee, please, in attendance, please stand up. I think we're good, but I just didn't want to make sure I didn't miss any. Welcome. I know I'm going to get something wrong. So, okay. Can I have 2018, please come up? Just a real quick picture. Okay. In recognition of the 2008 Shore Women Rowing Team Champions of the Mid-Atlantic Conference and first team in program and school history to compete at the NCAA Rowing Championship. Members of the team, Jamie Beaver Leach, 2009, Catherine Black, 2011, Carol Lemon, 2009, Emily Hoffler, 2010, Sarah Holland, 2011, Shelley Holtman Schumer, 2008, Courtney Jensen Marin, 2008, Krista Jensen, 2010, Jenna LaPointe, 2009, Christine Lynch, 2011, Erica Mallow, 2010, Caroline Perry Gamble, 2010, Laura Ratz, 2008, Nicole Russo, 2009, Amy Smith, 2010, and Suzanne Vaughn, 2011. We consider it a privilege and an honor to recognize you this evening for all your contributions to the women's rowing team of 2008. So I welcome anyone who wants to speak to come up to the microphone. Yes.
So we just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be honored. We wouldn't be here obviously without Coach Davenport and Coach Saunders as well. So thank you so much for everything you've done. We also somehow landed on 3 people that showed up today who are the engine room of the boat, which if you know about rowing is the boat that just does the powerhouse. So we're not known for the thinking and the critical skills. So when asked to speak, we weren't sure really quite what to say. We really just remember just getting it done and focusing on the moment. So not a whole lot of specifics, but we really are just honored to be here. And you know, this is like kind of the engine of that boat that year, the muscle. And yeah.
It's been fun. Thank you to having us, and it's been fun to kind of catch up because we haven't seen each other in like 13 years. But we do want to say thank you to Coach Davenport and of course Coach Saunders. The second race we were discussing at NCAA's was the highlight race, the first race wasn't bad to us, but very early on in our rowing career, one of the coaches talked about bubbles. And if you know anything about rowing, you basically shadow the person who is in front of you, and you have to do exactly what they do at the exact same time to make the boat run smoothly. And if you can do it correctly, you can hear the bubbles under the shell. That second race, we heard the bubbles. Thank you, Coach Davenport.
Mine are more well behaved than yours. Rachel Blackson, 2011. Rachel. There was little drama, but much admiration when the female winner of the college's Senior Athletic Award, given to the most accomplished senior male and female students, was announced at the annual Washington College Athletics Awards ceremony on May 5th, 2011. That's what happens when a 7-time All-American and an 18-time Centennial Conference champion is part of the senior class. Rachel Glasser completed her illustrious collegiate swimming career at the 2011 NCAA Division III Championships held in Knoxville, Tennessee. Her 12th place finish in the 200-yard butterfly and 15th place finish in the 500-yard freestyle were the 6th and 7th All-American or All-American honorable mention performances of her career. She also qualified for Scholar All-American honors for the 2nd consecutive season. Glasser dominated the Centennial Conference like few swimmers before her. She was named the most outstanding swimmer at each of her last 3 conference championship meets, finishing with a total of 18 gold medals, 6 silver medals, and 3 bronze medals over 4 years. She won all 9 individual events she entered over her final 3 conference championship meets. A 4-time team MVP, Glasser left an indelible mark on the conference and school record books as well. She holds the school records in the 500 freestyle, the 1,000 freestyle, the 1,650 freestyle, 100 butterfly, 200 butterfly, and 200 freestyle.
Woo!
She is also a member of the 3 school record relays teams. She still holds the Centennial Conference Championship meet record in the 200 butterfly, a standard she set on February 22nd, 2009. Glasser brought national press to Washington College as she was featured in Sports Illustrated Faces in the Crowd in March of 2012. A 2-time team captain, Glasser currently resides in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania with her husband Dan and enjoys traveling, cooking, and spending time with family. She works in sponsorship marketing at Grant Thornton LLP. Washington College considers it an honor and a privilege to induct Rachel Glasser into its Athletic Hall of Fame on this 28th day of October 2022.
First, thank you so much to the committee for this honor, and congratulations to my fellow inductees, Kevin and Coach Davenport. I'm thrilled to celebrate alongside you this evening. I'm filled with pride to have my family and so many friends and training partners here tonight. My mother, Sandra, is back in Pennsylvania watching the live stream with my sister-in-law. My brother Davis is here, and though he passed in 2018, I know my dad knew this day was coming, so I only wish he was here to share in the joy of this accomplishment. There wasn't much more that my parents enjoyed than coming to swim meets during my college years. Special thank you to Roku and the Centennial Conference app for allowing my mother to remain a part of the Shoreman swimming family, even after my time at Chester Times. My husband Dan, his siblings, and his parents, Andy and Suzanne, and my nieces are here. And though we didn't know each other as undergraduates, Dan is also tied to my Washington College swimming career. On our first date, I mentioned that I had been in Sports Illustrated as a way to sound cool. And I was looking forward to our second date where Dan brought his 4-year-old copy of the exact issue of Sports Illustrated in which I appeared in Faces in the Crowd. So he asked me to autograph it for him, and there was no turning back from there. I'd like to give a special thank you to Phil Tickner and Jason Bryden. I don't think they're here, but the folks in Sports Information for pitching me and giving me the best icebreaker I could. I grew up a pool rat at Calverton Swim Club, where I got my first taste for competitive swimming at age 4. Kim Lassard told me that I'm not allowed to thank every person back to middle school, so I'd like to congratulate Tony Murray, Todd Garner, and Megan Dalazoo for making the cut tonight. They were especially influential in my development and helping me build a love for the sport. Continuing with gratitude, I have to thank Kim Lassard, who helped me accomplish so many of my goals in and out of the pool.
On my recruiting trip, Kim said that the beauty of Division III and of Washington College was that it could be as hard or as easy as I wanted to make it. Doubles, weights, second sports, remember you tried to get me to row with Coach Jeff? Any of it was possible, and she was right. So I'm indebted to the college for the liberal arts education that set me up for success in my professional life, and to the many coaches, administrators, support staff, athletic training staff, and faculty whose support, both visible to me and behind the scenes, made my experience at Washington College so great. Thank you so much for this honor.
Kevin Thibodeau, class of 2006. Kevin Thibodeau started the final 2 campaigns in goal after being mentored by Hall of Famer Rich Yost as an underclassman. His play in the cage those 2 years, in 2005 and 2006, were 2 of the most impressive performances in the history of the program, as he turned in a spectacular 6.14 goals against average, along with a 677 save percentage. He was named the team most valuable player both seasons. The Cheshire, Connecticut native helped lead the Maroon and Black to a combined record of 24-10 in a Centennial Conference Championship in 2006. As a senior that season, the team reached the NCAA Division III quarterfinals, and Thibodeau was selected to the All-American third team following the campaign. It was no surprise that the netminder was a recipient of the 2006 Washington College Senior Athletic Award, in addition to being named to the North-South Senior All-Star Game. He was also ranked in the top 5 in the country in save percentage at 678, and goals against average at 6.03 in 2006, leading the squad to a national second-place finish in scoring defense. In total, Thibodeau dressed for the NCAA tournament 3 times and the Centennial Conference tournament 4 times during his career. The Shoremen won the 2004 Centennial Conference Championship and reached the NCAA semifinals that season. Thibodeau resides in Simsbury, Connecticut, where he serves as the head of sales and project management with the Ray Jurgen Company. He enjoys spending time with his family, particularly his children, Finn, 10, and Loriana, 8. Thibodeau also serves as a youth lacrosse goalie coach. I heard today that his son's following in his footsteps, so congratulations. During his spare time. Washington College considers it an honor and a privilege to induct Kevin Thibodeau, class of 2006, to its Athletic Hall of Fame on this 28th day of October 2022.
Feels really good to be back here. It's been about 8 years. So, just wanted to start off by saying congratulations to the other inductees, Rachel and Mike. It's really a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I want to start off by saying some thank yous as well. Thank you to Thad for putting this together and for your support when I was an athlete here. The Hall of Fame board. It's truly an honor to be here tonight. Thank you. Coach J.D. Clark, for his time and effort and dedication to make us better. Brian Matthews, for his support for my year's plan. This college and its faculty for the education and the opportunity to represent the college as an athlete. My parents for supporting me in the opportunity to come to this school and for making the long trips from Connecticut to watch my games. My wife, who I met here at the school. My 2 kids for making the trip and listening to their dad talk about the good old days. And lastly, the game of lacrosse. Sport has given me a lot and has taught me important lessons: perseverance, humility, joy, and what it means to be part of a team. The game has opened doors and presented many opportunities. The biggest being the opportunity to be a part of this college. To come to the school with such a rich history and to play possibly for a national championship. I can remember being in high school and going through the college search. This, as you may know, can can be kind of a stressful experience. I think I visited something like 12 to 14 schools, so a lot of miles walked. Towards the end of that search, I can remember driving into Chestertown, looking around at the open landscape, the downtown, the water, and thinking, yeah, I think I can do this. I sat down with Coach Clark and the coaching staff, walked the campus, meeting the team, doing an overnight with one of the players, and by the next morning, pulling away from the school, I knew this is where I wanted to go. It'd be hard to express into words, but it was a feeling, and that's all I needed. So here I stand, many years later. Did I walk away with a championship ring? No, I didn't. But a couple of close years. But I did walk away with 4 great years of collegiate lacrosse, a great education, lifelong friends, my now wife, a love for this school, and I had an absolute blast. I like to end with a story as well. So, about 3 weeks ago, I'm standing in my driveway looking at the mailbox that the Amazon guy crushed. And this gentleman and his wife are walking down the street with their dog. So, being neighborly, I decided to have a conversation. And turns out he is the local college lacrosse coach for Trinity College. And I'm like, oh, cool. He's like, I was a goalie. I was like, nice, that's cool. And he goes, I went to Salisbury. I was like, he had a few laughs, continues down the street, but I know he's got to come back to get to his house. So I had something in my closet left over for my playing days. So I went inside the house, put it on, went back out in the yard, pretended to look at the mailbox, waited for them to come around the corner, and I just turned around and his face just lit up and he said, "Suck Fallsbury."
Dr. Mike Davenport was appointed Washington's 6th women's rowing head coach in the summer of 1990 and held that position until his retirement in July of 2016. A collegiate coach for 3 decades, Davenport oversaw Washington's men's and women's rowing team at the completion of his coaching career and also served as Washington's compliance coordinator and as an adjunct professor. The Shore women captured 6 Mid-Atlantic Rowing Conference championships under Davenport in 2009, 11, 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Woo!
The team also qualified for the NCAA Division III championships 6 times in 2008, 9, 13, 14, 15, and 16. After several years of having the top-ranked team and/or both in the Mid-Atlantic region, Davenport guided the Shore Women's Varsity 8 to the program's first ever appearance in the NCAA Division III championships in 2008. He was also named the Mid-Atlantic Region Coach of the Year that same season. The Boston, Massachusetts native was named the conference's Coach of the Year in 2013 after securing the league's first ever AQ for the NCAA Division III championships. Washington finished 6th at the championships, headlined by a 5th place finish in the first varsity 8. Davenport was I'm not getting that one out to me. Davenport was named the College Rowing's Coach Association National Coach of the Year for the Division III for the first time. The Shoremen went on to win their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th consecutive MARC championships in 14, 15, and 16, and advanced to the NCAA Division III championship each year. Davenport was named Mark Coach of the Year for the second time in 2015 and the third time in 2016. Mike and his wife Tracy currently reside in Centerville, Maryland. Washington College considers it an honor and a privilege to induct Dr. Michael Davenport into its Athletic Hall of Fame on this 28th day of October 2022.
Well, I'm going to stand up here because there's electronics here. And Kim Lassard told me to keep it really short, which if you know Kim Lassard, in 1990, Tracy, my wife, and I were at Albany, where I was teaching and coaching at SUNY Albany. And we had an opportunity to come down here to Washington College. And by the way, one of the smartest things you're ever going to do when you public speak is bring a child, because you're not listening to me at all. You're waiting. What's the glasses or something like that. So somebody asked me, why are you coming to Washington College? And from a conceited standpoint, I thought I could really help this program. And it wasn't until I got here until I realized how wrong I was. I wasn't coming here for me to help then. It was just the opposite. For what the school did for us, my family, was pretty amazing. I'll just bookend it real quick. Our very first day, it's Washington College, and I know everybody has a feeling for it and an insight, but I'll give you probably an insight that you haven't seen recently. Our very first day here at the college was interview day. And after we got done the interview, we went up to get something to, like I had to have something, so I ended up going to the freeze, right? Walked in, and from Albany, and then right from that, we were from Orlando, big town. So walked in the freeze and said, hey, can I get a cone? The guy, sure. And I said, can I get sprinkles on it? And he goes, what? And I said, Jimmy's, the chocolate little things you put on top. And they said, Tracy backed me up on this, they said, oh, we don't have those, but we heard Ponderosa's coming in 3 years, and we think they'll have them. Okay. My very last day here at college, when I was full-time, 2016, I went to the freeze. I walked in. I said, hey, can I have a cone? I said, sure. Can I get sprinkles? And they said, no exaggerating, what? I said, the little things you put on top. They said, no, but you can go over to Acme and buy your own little cone. Okay, but in between those two bookends, we've had a great opportunity. So my wife and I both got our doctorates while we were here. I had a chance to work with many years with a U.S. national team. So you're not listening. Travel. Thank you very much. Got a chance to travel the world to represent the United States in many places, and also had a chance to be a member of the 1996 Olympic team down at Lake. And all of that was done not only with the school's permission, but also with the school's back, gave me time off to do that. It was absolutely amazing. To tailor on to one thing that Sarah was saying about Title IX, one of the opportunities here was my wife and I had a chance to sit down with Birch Bayh, who was the senator from Indiana who was instrumental in passing the legislation that resulted in Title IX. And he came up to get an award, and we spent about a half hour talking with him. It was just the three of us, and he was telling us all about that. And that's one of the things that I feel that Washington College has a strength, is the opportunities. Thad and I drove around the golf cart this morning in Heber this afternoon, and he asked me, like, what's the story that you tell people when you were recruiting them for Washington College? And number one story was, it doesn't really matter where you go, it's what advantage you take of what's there. And the school here at Washington College, amazing opportunities. I know you know that, Mike, I know everybody else knows that, but so many people don't know that. So there's so many things here that are just absolutely great. If you want sprinkles or Jimmy's, this is not the otherwise than that, there are so many great opportunities, and I'm very humbled, and I want to say thank you to so many people that helped me not only be successful, but also to find the wonder and the joy here. Brian, my wife, my family, and by the way, my son over there, my oldest son, he's racing, he's on NASCAR pit crew, and they're racing for, to get into the final championship. Ross Chastain, #1. Go Ross. Put the Phillies in, I gotta talk about that. All right, oh, by the way, I'm cutting it short because they're playing Skinner, so we gotta.
So to kind of wrap things up again, congratulations, Rachel, Kevin, Mike, to 2008 Women's Rowing Team, and thank you for coming back. It means a lot to me. I tell anybody and everybody, I enjoy these days the most, when we have people coming back and having a thriving campus. A little less music maybe right now. But it's great to see the activity on campus, especially after 2 years of the pandemic, to have people out and re-engage, and this is special to me. Even though, Kevin, I did go to a different school, I apologize for that. But it's a lot of fun, and President Mike kind of alluded to it. We are embarking on some strategic initiatives and strategic planning to move us forward, and we do have a thriving athletic program. We'll know the final details tomorrow, but the first time ever, we had 2 of our fall teams qualify for the Centennial Conference Championship the same year. So that's a big deal for us to be able to accomplish that. Our men's soccer team's going back to defend their championship, and our field hockey team's going back, I think, for the first time in 5 years. So they're meeting with success on the field, and as President Mike also said, they're still doing just like everybody in here that were former athletes, well, except for maybe George, thriving in the classroom as well. Okay, they're outpacing their peers in the classroom, just like you did back when you guys were in the classroom competing in the field. So again, it's a robust weekend. It's not over tonight, as you can probably tell. There's some festivities if you want to after this. Just go down Martha Washington Square. You're welcome to that. We also have a robust athletic schedule tomorrow. All of our fall teams are home. Okay, we have a 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock game in the stadium. We have a 2:30 volleyball match in the gymnasium. We have men's and women's basketball having an alumni event. Swimming, where's Phil? Swimming's having a gathering. We also have all of our spring sports minus tennis are having alumni games tomorrow morning too. So we have a lot of alumni back. This is what we want. This is kind of how we design these weekends, to bring it back, to reconnect with people. So it warms my heart that say, hey, look, we haven't talked to somebody. I had an assistant coach, ironically enough, texted me this morning. He's like, where are you going to take me for lunch? And I hadn't seen him. He goes, Dad, I hadn't seen you in 18 years. And he was just driving through. His brother lives in Middletown, Delaware. He's like, where are you taking me to lunch? And I was like, well, Pacalino's is still at the same place. And everything else, so we ate lunch at Pacalino's, we're able to get catch up. That's the beauty of this place. It really is. As soon as you cross, I always say, as soon as you cross that bridge, it's like you never left. And it gives you that feeling, no matter how many times you do it, you get that same type of feeling, kind of like Kevin spoke. It just feels right. It's hard to explain, but it just feels right. So again, thank you all for coming. If you want to take pictures by the step and repeat, you can certainly do that. We also have our photographer there is more than willing to do it as well. So thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and please come back and visit us.